Hello and welcome to Marbella with him and her. He is
PJ Lopez and she is
Hannah Murray.
a bit snotty though.
Oh, I'm sorry we're late. I hate being late. I've felt the pressure.
But you're not very well, are you?
No, well, I'm all right, but I've had a cold and I don't know whether I sound silly or sexy. What do you think?
Silly.
Thanks. Knew I could rely on you, to be honest. You keep pointing out to me.
Listen, that's what a podcast is for. Humour and honesty.
Thanks. So yeah, I'm really sorry we didn't do this on Sunday or yesterday because I wasn't feeling great. So I thought, you know what? You guys will appreciate us doing a more fun-filled podcast this evening than the crap I would have put out there yesterday.
Exactly, and we don't want your crap. So
Yeah.
we're back, hopefully,
Guess
with a...
who's back again. Oh, I was singing on the last one. I'll shut up.
As I was saying, this will hopefully be fun for you and fun for us.
That would be nice. I was listening to last week's podcast, or the last podcast that we put out on the Monday. We both always have a little listen. I listen when I'm driving around just to see how it sounds and, you know, critical and all that kind of thing, and see what we can improve on and what's boring and what's fun and interesting, that kind of thing.
So we have no podcast this week, thank you, and goodbye.
Last week's podcast, I was talking about how amazing the weather is in Marbella and how lucky we are to live here. I love Marbella, I was saying, and it was absolutely bucketing it down last Monday, wasn't it? There were floods and everything.
Been cold as well. I didn't come here. I didn't sign up for this.
No, this isn't what we came here
No,
for.
I'm off to the Bahamas.
Good luck with that.
So next week it'll be the Bahamas with him and her.
Yeah, imagine. So I did something new on Monday. Well, not new, but different place new. I went to try out bootcamp Pilates. I've seen so much amazing content going up, mainly through Kate, who's one of my colleagues on Good Morning Spain. She does bootcamp Pilates classes and it looks fabulous fun. And I won a voucher for 3 classes at the Age Concern Christmas lunch. So I thought it was about time I started to use them. So I went last Monday. I also went this Monday. Wow. First one, struggled, well, not to walk so much. My legs were okay, but my bottom hurt.
It's nothing worse than a hurty bottom.
No, it was really just like getting up and getting down and sitting on things was like... Ooh,
Your glutes.
My glutes were hurting, and my arms. My legs are so much stronger than my arms. So all the stuff we do with the legs, I find quite fun, to be honest, but all the planks and things, my whole body's shaking.
I don't like planking.
No, I don't. Our friend Amy is a legend at planking.
She's like a planking world champion.
Planking machine. But no, I can't. I struggle with it. But already, having done this week's class, which I'll tell you a little bit more about on next week's podcast, I'm already better than I was last week, I think. So that's good.
So much stronger.
Exactly. Well, that's the idea. You improve over time. But the first time I felt like a bit of a...
Like a good wine.
I didn't feel like a good one. I felt like a bit of a nut.
No, I can tell you whined a lot.
I can highly recommend Bootcamp Pilates. It was a lovely group of women, totally different women last Monday compared to this Monday. So mix and match. And I met some really lovely people and it's great fun. The teacher is brilliant. So loved that.
I was looking down our notes and I got a little bit confused because we're talking about Pilates and I said she was naked. I'm trying to think, what? You didn't tell me that? But that's a different story.
That is a different story. That is the Grammys. Big story of last week. Kanye West and his girlfriend, Bianca Censori. She wasn't that censored. She was absolutely naked. On the red carpet, she took off her big oversized fur coat and she wasn't wearing anything apart from this mesh kind of see-through dress, if you can call it that. Thoughts?
A bit too in your face for me. I like sexy. So sexy, it can be revealing, but not fully revealing. Leave something to the imagination. That's what I find sexy.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing left to the imagination. You could see everything. That was kind of the point. And there's a lot of discussion that's come out from this, the fact that he's apparently completely controlling. She didn't have a choice. He made her do it. And I kind of think, for sure, he seems controlling, but she does have a choice.
Yeah, but there was
if
some
you
articles.
said to me, will you go naked on the red carpet? I'd say no. And if you went, you must, otherwise I'll leave you, I'd go, bye.
So I will go naked on the carpet then.
I might
on my
leave
own.
you too. But it's true, you know what I mean?
I do, but then there was a story about, I can't remember who else, it was someone else that he dated in the past. And she said the similar thing, that he was so controlling, he made her do things. And I think the problem is we're comparing ourselves to in a normal relationship. You've got a relationship there. Well, let's see. Normal.
Define normal. Sorry, carry on.
We're not A-list celebrities.
That is true.
And usually...
Like D or E list. Kind of.
I think you might be pushing it there. I'd go further down the alphabet if I were you.
P list.
No, a bit further down.
Oh, there is a thing Z list, isn't
Exactly.
there?
There we are. I'm not sure we actually make the alphabet, actually.
No, I'll stick to Z list. That's fine.
But a lot of these women, they're not as famous as a person they're dating. Therefore, they usually will maybe do things that they wouldn't normally do just because they want to stay and be with this person. So just putting that out there.
Yeah, I mean, my first reaction until I read the article about, him being really controlling was, well, it was only a matter of time. There's a lot of women on red carpets, and over the years they're wearing less and less. The outfits are more and more revealing. It used to be like, gosh, she's showing quite a bit of leg. And then it's like, oh, you can see quite a bit of cleavage. But in the last few years, women are wearing dress where you can see their nipples or you can see their bum crack.
At least Lady Gaga wore some ham on.
Exactly. She covered up her crack with some ham on.
Which
well, there's a sentence I never thought I'd say.
Something to try at the weekend there.
Oh, dear. But it was only a matter of time before a woman was going to be completely naked, attention-seeking, look at me type thing. She's got a stunning body. She looks incredible, kudos to her. There was the saying, if you've got it, flaunt it. Well, she has got it and she did flaunt it. But I did an interview today, funnily enough, on the radio with a woman who'd written a book about Taylor Swift's style as a style icon. And I made the point of saying that I think she's one of the few women of her age in the public eye who is such an iconic figure, this is whether you like her music or not, who has somehow managed to keep it classy. She's beautiful. She's not, oh my God, look at her. She's absolutely drop dead sexy, gorgeous. I don't think personally. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. But she is beautiful. And somehow all the outfits that she wears, even ones that are revealing, they're not kind of risque, I don't think.
They're not trashy.
They're not trashy. They're not trashy.
Like to see Taylor Swift in a trashy outfit, to be
stop
fair.
It. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. No, but I think she carries herself so well and is such a great role model for young women.
No, I think that's it. She has such a young following that whether it's intentional or not, she makes sure that she doesn't step outside of any comfort zones for those young fans.
Yeah, you never see her showing loads of cleavage or with her bum out or anything like that. I think she's great.
It depends where you look. I know a few sites you can look at that you can see.
Oh, stop it. Don't ruin it. I did a fascinating thing on Monday night. I did a free female invest webinar with Deborah Meaden.
Deborah Meaden from Dragon's Den.
Yeah, she was really nice. She looked amazing. Not that that should have anything to do with it, but I'm just passing comment as we've been talking about looks. She looked fabulous and she came across really well and gave some amazing advice. Sheila came over and my dad, even though he's not a woman, we were all sitting there taking notes because we're all talking all the time about investing and things, aren't we? So it's good to get some tips. And Sheila's actually started the boot camp.
Oh, really?
She started last night, yeah.
Wow.
I couldn't really get my head around it before India, but I'm getting a lot of information about investing and it's really interesting. And these women were so inspiring.
Yeah, I didn't hear because I was locked in the kitchen.
Yeah, you were making us dinner.
I wasn't allowed out.
I'm doing a female invest course while my husband's in the kitchen making dinner.
We swapped roles.
I love it. That's brilliant. Now, I have some, don't read ahead at that.
Okay.
I have some news for you.
Okay.
So, last week you were not moaning necessarily, but commenting.
I don't moan. I'm not a moaner.
Okay, commenting how when you went to Nuevo Siglo, the Chinese restaurant, on Chinese New Year,
yes,
you knew more about it than they did.
Yes.
And you were quite surprised that there weren't any decorations.
I was.
Things like that.
No dragons running through.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I was approached at the Hogan stand at my quiz last week. Paul from Ireland, lovely Paul, who listens to our podcast.
Hello, Paul.
He came up to me and he said, Hannah, do you know why they weren't celebrating Chinese New Year in Nuevo Siglo?
Because they're Greek?
No, because they're from the Philippines.
Oh, for goodness sake. Why have they got a Chinese restaurant then?
I was like, oh my God, does that make us racist? The fact that we assumed they're Chinese.
Well, it's just...
Don't answer that. So we apologise to our Filipino friends at Nuevo Siglo.
When's
And
Filipino
any
New
Chinese, I don't know. And anyone who was offended or is offended by our lack of
Culture
culture,
and just general knowledge.
observation and knowledge. Yes, so thank you,
Could have
Paul.
sworn they were Chinese.
Stop it, stop digging. Oh dear, we'll get in trouble. Someone will be offended somewhere.
Oh, well, then we've done our job right.
Okay. Dad and I had a lovely brunch on Friday. We went to Kukento, the Moroccan place in San Pedro. Haven't been there for a while. Neither of us had a Moroccan breakfast, but it was lovely. Dad had this kind of croissant-y roll type thing with avocado and looked really nice. And I had a breakfast bowl. It was a yogurt and muesli breakfast bowl, beautifully decorated with all the fruit and everything. It was stunning.
It was.
We got so many great breakfast places in San Pedro. We're very
I'm
lucky.
saying it was, but I never go to the brunches.
No, but you saw the picture.
Yeah, so it looked nice.
You could appreciate its beauty. Then I did something that I haven't done for many years. I got on a bus.
Yes, I made you get on a bus, I think.
Yeah, well, you were at work and I needed to go to Marbella. I was meeting my friend Charlotte for lunch. So instead of paying 15 odd euros in a taxi, I paid €1.90 and got on a bus.
How was that journey?
It was all right. I took a photo.
You took a photo of you on a bus.
I didn't get a photo of me on the bus. I just took a photo of my view on the bus. Yeah, it was a little bit cramped, but it didn't take that long. There is an app for anyone who listens who uses buses here. I used to use buses all the time because I only learned to drive 4 and a bit years ago, believe it or not. So before that, I used to get buses all the time. And there's an app called Avanza, Avanza, which is the name of the bus company. And if you download that, you can select, it's all in English, you can select certain things and basically it tells you the timing of when the bus is going to arrive. So you don't need to be sitting at a bus stop for like 40 minutes before you leave your house, presuming you can walk to the bus stop. You can see that a bus is going to arrive in 20 minutes, in 5 minutes, and that's not connected to the schedule. Regardless of what the schedule says, this actually tells you the timing of the bus's arrival, and obviously it's changing constantly depending if the bus is in traffic or whatever. So it's fabulous, really, really worth having.
So I think you should do more bus journeys so you can report on this sort of thing quite regularly on our podcast.
I think maybe you should do them.
Okay.
I've done mine. I've done my bus quota for the moment. We didn't have much luck, Charlotte and I, unfortunately, with wine. We went to Marbella Old Town again, which is always beautiful and lovely, and we had some lovely food, but didn't get on with the wine. We went to 3 different places. I'm not going to mention their names. We both like a Sauvignon Blanc. Some places didn't do Sauvignon Blanc by the glass. Some places did, and the ones that did didn't taste or look or smell like Sauvignon Blanc. So, yeah, a little bit disappointed with the wine. And Charlotte obviously is a wine expert. She, buys and sells wine and imports wine and things. Oh, and we were just saying, the importance of, if you run a bar, a restaurant, that you'd assume that people would want to take pride in their wine and have some decent kind of house wines available.
Yeah, I don't get that. We've been to a couple of restaurants, not necessarily Spanish restaurants, and he said, "Oh, what wine do you do? Red or white?" And that's it. That literally is their wine list, red or white. And they don't even know what it is. If you ask them, "Well, what is it?" And they go away, get the bottle and have a look and then show you the bottle. So, yeah, I don't understand how you can have an eatery, because a lot of eating these days is complemented with wine. Just get a decent wine. It's not difficult.
I guess for some, there are people who, I don't want to criticise people's palates or anything, because that would be very snobbish of me. But there are people who don't really give a damn and don't care. And if it's red, fine, I'll drink it. If it's white, fine, I'll drink it. And they seem to be quite happy.
But I think you'll find these days a lot more people are developing palates for things like that, you know. So I think you should just have a choice. As I said, it's not difficult. It's not expensive. You can get a supermarket wine for €4 and you can resell that for 15. So they're still making a good profit on it.
Oh, definitely.
Just, you know, they just don't have to have the cheapest they can possibly find to get the highest markup they can get in the world.
You went to Gibraltar?
I did. And we went in the car and it was like the United Nations. So I've got to try and remember this. There was me, obviously, that's British. There was an Argentinian with an Italian passport. There was a Ukrainian with a Portuguese passport. And then there was a Spanish person. So, yes, it was quite interesting at the border. I think they just gave up. I think they just thought, yeah, go through.
Oh, brilliant. And you came back with a family-sized bottle of Vimto that's going to last us about 10 years, I think.
Well, I hate the stuff, so it's only for you. And you said that you can't get Vimto here and you wanted more Vimto, so I got you some.
Yeah, it's just like 4 times the size of the one we had before.
Well, it'll last 4 times as long then, won't it?
It will. Thank you very much. And you also bought back some apple and blackcurrant juice. I didn't know.
Well, you were moaning the other day that you can't get... You were saying that in supermarkets in Spain...
I just wanted Vimto.
No, you were looking for cordial, like normal juice. And you said, nowhere does it. So I thought that meant that you wanted some. So I bought you some other stuff back as well.
You're really thoughtful.
I am. And then I bought back some pork pies. I smuggled them through.
Oh, yes. You can't take meat.
No, but I smuggled them through.
What would you have done if they confiscated your meat?
I would have eaten them.
What, the officers?
No, not the people. The pork pies, you silly woman. They said I couldn't take them. Yeah, don't go there. Okay, move on, quick.
So David, our friend Bev's dad, is now our pointless friend.
Yes, he was on Pointless, is what we mean.
Yeah.
And he got to the final, so well done him. But the questions they asked in the final were just ridiculous.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I wish I could mention them all. You know when you have to choose the 3 subjects at the end and it will say 70s disco hits, players in England World Cup winning team. You know, it'll give you 3 different subjects and there's normally 1 or 2 that you think, oh, should we pick that one or should we pick that one? These 3 subjects were utterly horrendous. I looked at them all and I wouldn't have known where to go.
No, and I think the one he went with in the end were Scottish ports that serve the ferries to go to the islands. I mean, wow.
Yeah, and it sounded like they knew what they were talking about. They gave some what sounded like good answers, but unfortunately they were wrong and they didn't win, which was a huge shame because it was great seeing him on TV. He's such a lovely man.
Very well dressed, wasn't he? Nice, smart shirt.
Very smart. So Bev and her dad are over here next week and they're coming to my quiz, so we can now call him our pointless friend.
Pointless David.
Pointless David. So well done to him. He actually was contacted like the next day or something after it was on television. He was invited to go to a Huddersfield Town game in a private box on the back of being on Pointless. How cool is that?
He's now famous Pointless David.
Love it. That's so nice. There was an article in the Euro Weekly News this week that I wanted to mention because I think it was lovely to see. Spain's first mobile shower brings hygiene and dignity to the streets. This is a wonderful charity and organisation called Collective Calling. They're actually based in San Pedro and Marbella, and we've done various charity events over the years to raise money and awareness for Collective Calling. I've also voluntarily packed shopping bags in Iceland 2 or 3 Christmases in a row to raise money for Collective Calling. They do wonderful work both locally in Spain for the homeless particularly, but also they have contacts in Tanzania and go over there to Africa and do amazing work there. So well done to them. I keep saying amazing, to the great work that they do. But yeah, they've created this mobile shower unit, which is obviously in part of a kind of camper van, which offers much greater flexibility and impact by reaching multiple locations and serving a larger number of people. Instead of expecting people to come to a centre to get a shower, they're taking showers to homeless people. So it's amazing.
No, it's a great initiative. Really good. I like anything like this that helps people that can't always help themselves, if you know what I mean. They can't get to places or they can't afford things. So yeah, lovely initiative.
There was an article that made me chuckle in the Daily Mail, which I actually read out on the news on my radio show, about a couple who flew 1,300 miles from the UK to Spain and back to collect her new car from Crewe, as it was cheaper than going by train. So they live in Cornwall in the south of England and had to get to Crewe, much further up north. The train tickets were £200 per person.
£200 per person for a smelly old train in the UK?
Yep.
Wow.
I cannot confirm that it's smelly, but I can confirm that it was £200 per ticket. So instead, she and her husband paid £54 per person to fly to Spain and back, and £45 for a hotel in Malaga. So costing, I don't know where they got a hotel for £45. I'd be interested to find that out. But £153 it cost them in total to fly to Spain, spend a night in Spain, then fly back to the UK, but to further near Crewe, pick up their car, and then drive it back down to Cornwall.
That's insane. It's insane, as in it's silly that it's so much cheaper, but insane as well. I mean, that you'd just be tired. Just get on the train.
Oh, no, I love this idea of one day travelling. It's the thing. People go, like, get the red eye, the first plane of the day from London, for example, to New York. Then they spend the day in New York, do all the touristy stuff, and then get the latest flight at, like, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, back again. So they're not paying for a hotel.
They sleep on the plane.
Yeah. I love the idea of that, going for somewhere for a day. And if you really love it, then obviously you can go back and book a proper holiday. But you can easily not see a whole city in a day. You won't be able to do everything, but you could see the main sites of a city in a day. I think it's a great idea.
Making a note of this for our next holiday.
Let's do it.
A night on a plane.
Yeah. And we mentioned on the last podcast about the Robbie Williams concert, which was on cruise ships in Malaga. And we said we'd let you know about the prices. They have released the prices. Do you want to say?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I read this. Considering this won't be a full concert, it's going to be a concert specially designed for these cruise ships. Also, it might even only be an hour long. I don't think it's going to be like a 2 or 3 hour concert. And the prices are from 170 to 199 euros.
That's mad, isn't it? That's not for people on the cruise ships. Obviously, they'll be getting the entertainment for free because it will be on their cruise ship. This is for people who want to stand around nearby and watch. Crazy money. But I do think that concert ticket prices seem to have gone up. I don't know if it's just a Spain... Well, it's not a Spain thing because Taylor Swift prices were crazy last year. The Oasis tickets were a bit mad. But Starlight Marbella Festival, there's some great acts coming up this summer, which I'm really excited about. Duran and Will Smith are the two I'm really interested in. And they're similar prices. You can't get much under 150 euros, which is nuts.
No, I mean, it does depend who the act is at Starlight, because I think there were some people that you could get them for 50 euros. So when they're big acts like this, they are putting the prices right up. I mean, I think, was it one year that someone like Elton John or something, it was like 200 or 300 euros a ticket. I mean, it's
not right. There should be different prices. And then if people want a ticket, you need to be quick getting the cheaper prices. I get that. That makes sense. But to start them off all really expensive isn't fair. So we may not be going to see Duran and Will Smith, which is a shame because I'd really like to.
I'd rather ditch Will Smith and watch Duran.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Duran would be my first choice. But I would just like to sing Boom Shake the Room with Will Smith because I do know all the words. So just in case he forgets any.
It says it's an evening with Will Smith. So I don't know what that whole setup is.
Maybe you get to have dinner with him.
Yeah, or he comes up and slaps you around the face.
Standard. And some good news with regards to Spain and sport.
Yes, so the Spanish rugby team, which I have seen live a few years ago, we went to see them in Spain play Tonga. They got absolutely hammered, but they've obviously improved since then because they have qualified for the World Cup Rugby. And that's the first time in something like 22 years.
Wow, brilliant.
So I think they have qualified before, but they then got disqualified because they had players that weren't eligible, basically were Spanish.
Oh, Oh, God. Well, surely you'd think they would have checked the rules before.
Spain.
Okay. We'll leave it there. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast, this week's podcast. Sorry it was a bit late. We love you. It's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from her.